SZA is set to join Kendrick Lamar for this year's halftime performance. Sexyy Red gets checked by Bernice King. And while companies are reneging on DEI programs left and right, Tabitha Brown is sending a very good message, loud and clear. Hey, critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. We are live on this Saturday, January the 25th, 2025. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Up first, y'all, let's talk Black on the Cover, where we highlight Black excellence gracing the cover of today's hottest magazines. On the cover of the winter issue of Vogue, we have Gabby Thomas as well as Angel Reese. On Esquire magazine, Denzel Washington on that winter 24-25 issue. Variety magazine, Weekend is still capturing that front page on that January the 8th issue. And I Am Unbreakable is the magazine in which Deborah Cox is on the January 2025 issue. And guess what? Believe it or not, she's into the wine industry. You got to check that out, y'all. And as a reminder, all magazines mentioned today is sourced through Hoopla. And Libby, both free streaming platforms made possible through our local library. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced through our public library. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to performing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. Hey, critics, you know what time it is. It's time for critical news you can use. Now, up first, you know what? I got a little side note before we get started. Y'all know that Target is out here backpedaling, of course, on their DEI policy. And, like a lot of companies, they're just, it's just no longer required, right? So shout out though, side note, another one. Shout out to the companies though that are adhering and standing on business for DEI. I feel like when a company makes a commitment to their employees and they're able to still follow through, it shows the integrity of that particular company. So good for y'all. Good for y'all. Well, recently, Target scaled back on DEI efforts and ended their support in general for Black businesses as well as products. Our girl Tabitha Brown, she's out here with all of her products. She has kitchen products. She has just a lot of different products, items, all of the things on not only the Target website, but also in the store itself. And I will say that over at the Jasmine brand, I seen a repost from Tabitha Brown's Instagram page that showed her on IG eating grapes out of a bowl. Okay. And Tabitha, she's always on there doing any sort of like recipes, especially a vegan recipe. But this time, honey, she had a nice decorated bowl. It was a nice bowl. One of them nice bowls. Very good, right? Shout out to Tab. And she was eating them red grapes and just eating them. And we heard her basically loud and clear. Now, what I'm about to say is basically a feeling, not a fact. But again, I agree with the Jasmine brand. I think what Tabitha was saying indirectly is, them DEI changes at Target, at Tarjay. I see you. Hmm. Time will tell. She got all kind of stuff, journals, lunch kits. Yeah. Yeah, and I know they sell out really. Ooh, honey, Tabitha got an audience, okay? She already got at least 1 million followers or subscribers, excuse me, specifically on her YouTube channel. And she still does Fridays with Tab and Chance. Like she always does stuff consistently on her social media platforms. So shout out to Tabitha Brown. Ooh, Tabitha Brown. Definitely an inspiration. Definitely an inspiration. Okay, now moving right along, want to talk a little bit about Tamar Brown Braxton. Excuse me. Tamar got a brand new podcast, y'all, and apparently she's been out for about a month talking about it. Her trailer on her YouTube channel verified that about a month ago they had a trailer, but I didn't know until recently when she went on V103 in Atlanta and their YouTube channel popped up, and I thought to myself like, what's Tamar got lot going on. And it said that Tamar had a brand new podcast, and it's going to be called Life, Love, and Beyond with Tamar and Taz, where she plans to explore love, relationships, and faith. She was in Atlanta, obviously promoting the gig because that's, of course, where V103 Radio is. That's where Tigger, Big Tigger, right? That's where Tigger is. He used to host the. I'm just all on the BET, you know, thought of things just because 106 in Park and all of the things. Yeah. Um. Yes, the trailer is already on YouTube, so if you want to go check it out, you can. Their channel though already has about 300 or so subscribers, almost, if not already the 300 subscribers. But each episode, they say, is a journey of self-discovery, growth, as well as connection. The critics in the comments, they were here for this, and I think the Tay Martians sound like they cannot wait as well. It was a couple of comments that, caught me off guard a little bit. Like, I think there's a spiritual component to it that may that may not seem as biblical to some people, right? And I think this girl at the bottom was like, this is out of line for me. I want no parts. I thought that was funny, but I'm sure the Tay Martians are gonna check it out. Another side note. My some of my side notes, I'll be like, I shouldn't say that, but by the time I already said side note, it feel like I already got to say it anyway. Tamar, don't be I see you hanging with Carlos a lot because in the trailer, Carlos is actually in the trailer as well. So it's not just Tamar and Taz, and then also the one who did the Patty Pie review. I cannot remember. Is it James? What's his name? What's his name? He also was at that concert with Tamar and that other Krishan, where there was some sort of an altercation and apparently he was assaulted. I believe this was the one. Well, they must have never had an issue, or if they did have an issue, they must have squashed it because he's also a part of not only some of the trailer that came out, but he's in the description as well on their YouTube channel. So yeah, I guess if you get a chance to, whenever it releases, I don't have an official date. It doesn't look like, again, I just looked at the trailer, and I saw this pop up and I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, watch out for Carlos and never forget he snatched Candy's story for, wasn't it for Escape? mm It's a glowing little feeling like the summer sun that slowly rises on a new. Y'all, I love that song. I love that song. And it's more exotic in Jamaica. Okay, okay. Anyway, let me get back to what I'm supposed to get back to. I'm sure I'm wrong about Carlos, right? But watch yourself. Because he got a pattern. And also watch the Braxton family story legacy. All of the things. Your story, the family legacy of the Braxtons, all of it. Watch it like a hawk. And also, y'all owe us a movie. The Braxtons owe us a movie. Nobody asked me for my opinion, but I'm giving to you anyway. Y'all owe us a movie, individually and as a group. Tony, I get it. You already did yours. My bad. Tony already did her Lifetime movie, so y'all can go and check that out if you want to. The rest of y'all, though, y'all got time, but not that much time, ladies. We need a movie and a family movie too. I don't care what y'all say. Now I'm gonna continue to move along to Amarie. Singer Amarie, she has a brand new book that she wrote, and I finally saw this announcement as well on her YouTube channel where she debuted the cover, and the title of the book is gonna be called "This Is Not a Ghost Story." Now, the release date for the book is actually June the 10th. It's about a black man who comes back from the other side and he basically wants to return. He then has to, what sounds like, go on some sort of a journey. And the rest is basically in the book, y'all. So you're gonna have to check it out sometime in June, or be sure to subscribe to her channel. She has a lot of book reviews. She also has a website. She has a book club as well. And A. Marie for years has basically used her YouTube platforms for the book reviews and her book club. It just kind of highlights some diverse and unique perspectives and voices. And that also is what her website quotes as well. You can also catch her on Hoopla if you're wondering, does she have anything I can check out right now? I had a chance to actually check out her children's book. It's called You Will Do Great Things. It's a children's book about a young boy's imagination that takes off when he gazes at family photos. So, yeah, again, only about a 5-minute listen in terms of the audiobook that she has on Hoopla. And also her 2009 album, In Love and War, is also available. And yeah, I like to I like to read or listen to books. I don't like to say read books, especially when I honestly listen to books way more. Probably than I read in terms of books these days. But it does help when I am able to have the physical book and then also the audiobook, and I'm able to kind of read along with the audiobook, or do a little bit of both, all of the things, right? So yeah, speaking of all of the things, honey, Lori Harvey has teamed up with Playboy. Now, Us Weekly reports that the skincare entrepreneur and model has returned not just for any issue, okay? This is for the first print issue, they say, in 5 years. So, congratulations, Lori. If you don't know, Lori is the daughter of radio host Steve Harvey as well as his wife, Marjorie. And they, she's looking nice in the 12-second clip that I saw on the Playboy YouTube channel. And she teases basically the upcoming issue. Now, it is available right now for pre order. And while she has a few different looks, honestly, the one that caught my attention the most was this liquid latex bodysuit, featuring puffed sleeves and a plunging neckline and high cut hips, made by, it sounds like, Japanese born designer at Suko Kudo, who seems to specialize in this neck, that naked look. He's also, excuse me, the designer has also styled other famous individuals as well. And additionally, Harvey also wore some impressive over the knee boots that had that feathered look, the black feathers like at the top. And so I thought it was just really revealing in the right places, that plunging neckline. And then, of course, like the thighs, right? And um, the perfect part of the areas that need to be highlighted that gets all the attention necessary. We'll just say it like that and keep it moving. Congratulations. Lori. Now I'm sure that this is not the time to bring this up, but did y'all know that the first image of Playboy was of course, Marilyn Monroe, but it wasn't because she actually went to the mansion and did like a photo shoot or went to the Chicago office, because that's where the original Playboy office was, actually in Chicago. It's not like she went to Chicago and did like a photo shoot for him. He actually bought this photo from someone who had already taken photos of Marilyn Monroe, and that's how he basically got the cover of the magazine. And he knew that putting her on the front of the magazine will be an amazing start. And I think that's why he's today buried. I think he's buried. Hugh Hefner, I think, is buried by Marilyn Monroe in some kind of a, you know, y'all may not know. Maybe one of them concrete. I don't know. I don't think he's in the ground. He's up or something. I don't know. I should have looked that up before I tried to explain it to y'all. But anyway, I know that he is buried next to Marilyn Monroe. But yeah, when I found that out, I was like, well, well, well. Anyway, moving right along. Let's talk Sexy Red, baby. Y'all, I know y'all saw what happened with Sexy Red. If you don't know, let me just let you know, baby. Well, she basically disrespected MLK, and Bernice King was not here for it, baby. So there was basically an AI generated photo that rapper Sexy Red reposted of her and Dr. King. It was really her facing him as well. It was clear because Dr. King died a long, long time ago. So it was very clear, from my point of view, that it was an AI generated image that she just basically retweeted. She thought it was innocent and actually pretty cool, I believe. But once Bernice caught wind of it, she basically said the following. She said, "This is intentionally distasteful, dishonoring, deplorable, and disrespectful to my father, and my father, who is not here to respond himself because he was assassinated for working for civil and human rights and to end war on poverty." Sexy then said, and I actually thought this was a very mature response, and with an apology. She said, "You ain't wrong. Never meant to disrespect your family. My apologies. Just reposted something I thought was innocent." Bernice did thank Sexy for that apology and accepted it by saying, "Please know that it is not my intention that you be denigrated. I value you as a human being. I hope you understand my concerns about the image. I know that my father has become a bit of a caricature to the world, and that his image is often used with no regard to his family, his sacrificial work, or to the tragic, unjust way in which he died." which was a state sanctioned assassination. And she clarified that. She then went into what I consider to be generic mode at this point, that wasn't necessarily aimed directly at Sexy Red, but she kind of called it, if you thought this was a straight, this was probably the little part. But again, when you do something like this, I think sometimes folks just want to put their word out there, and it's like, let me just go ahead and put it all in one. She also continues on, and this is Bernice saying, unfortunately, I regularly challenge the disregard. I earnestly wish that people would imagine what it would feel like to see their deceased, murdered father repurposed for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady. She didn't say Sexy Red name. No, she said all the best to you, young lady. Not that nice, nasty. All the best to you, young lady. Well, I am glad though that Sexy Red did apologize. And I'm glad though that also they were able to still handle it publicly, and Sexy Red gave a public apology, and then also it was publicly accepted as well, because I thought that was necessary to see. Now I also was wondering if Sexy Red just needed to do something, kind of out there a little bit more, because she was coming out with this song. Because she also has a song out right now with Bruno Mars called Fat, Juicy, and Wet. You can check it out on YouTube. Oh, side note, I did not put this in the script, but I heard the Grammys is going to be hosted by Trevor Noah. I believe this ain't your first time hosting, Trevor. Like, how many times have you definitely hosted a few times? I want to say it's maybe like four or five. I should have wrote this down. But congrats again to Trevor Noah on being the host for the Grammys. Yes, it's always good when you get people who are easy on the eye. Okay. Speaking of easy on the eye, Kiki Palmer, baby, she's on Broadway. At least she's teasing us about a return to Broadway after hitting it big at the box office, of course, this past weekend, with her brand new movie with not only SZA but also produced by Issa Rae. And I actually believe Kiki Palmer it was also a producer for the movie as well. So shout out to her. But Kiki Palmer is basically set to star in Debbie Allen's Muhammad Ali play. Now, when she was on the Kelly Clarkson show recently, when she and Kelly Clarkson got together, y'all, on the Kelly Clarkson show, they had a chemistry that was phenomenal. Like, whatever was going on that day between the two of them, that chemistry was great. It was hitting. And I told y'all, I had in a different episode, I know I had told y'all that I watched Kiki Palmer guest co-host on Jenna and Friends, which y'all know that sounded like Fox and Friends over there, right? Anyway, but she was over on Jenna and Friends, and she was co-hosting. And I thought that she did good with Jenna, right? But this chemistry that she had with Kelly Clarkson, I was like, okay. Plus, they was fangirling over each other a little bit. And I was like, oh my goodness. And they was talking all over each other, but like in that good way, right? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Kiki is basically making her rounds to promote her brand new movie, One of Them Days, which I already told y'all. I've seen the movie, like the movie, go see it if you have not. I really, really, truly enjoyed it. Kiki Palmer also has a book out. It's called Master of Me. If you have a local library, they actually might have it physically in your local library. If you have Hoopla, check it out on Hoopla, and see if it's there. If not, maybe the wait list. It might be available like on the wait list. I will admit to you though, there is an opportunity for you to check out something Kiki related. Her girl group called Diva Girl. They have a brand new album just dropped 2025, and it's on Hoopla. And the name of the album is called Diva Girl and Story by Kiki Palmer. It's a fictitious real girl group who makes real music, and then Kiki goes by one of her other real names, and she's the Beyonce of the group, or maybe she goes by her full first name. I don't know. Y'all gotta check it out. You gotta check it out. Side note, y'all, though, there is a Hot Ones interview with Kiki, Issa Rae, and SZA. Y'all, it's on the First We Feast YouTube channel. Check it out, baby. It is. When I tell you it's hilarious, I feel like they all ragging on each other a little bit. We finally hear somebody joke around about Issa Rae husband. Finally. We don't want to be in the business, but if we hear you talking about it, we're going to listen. Because I'm going to listen. I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for myself. And since we're on the topic of Scissor, and I brought her up already, let's go ahead and get into the facts. that she's going to be joining Kendrick Lamar for the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show, baby. Now, that's going to be taking place on February the 9th, 2025. I don't know what station, y'all, but baby, just check your local listings, okay? Or whatever your streaming services is. Ain't no telling what kind of collabs they got going on when it comes to this Super Bowl that's going to be coming up there in New Orleans. And 2025 really does sound like it's set to be SZA's year. Am I wrong, right? Number one movie, one of them days, number one album, Lana. It's said on the internet, I forget the source, y'all, but they said that she's the first one this year to have basically a top movie as well as a top album. She's also going to be performing again with Kendrick Lamar. I actually predicted this. That's what I wanted to say. I predicted this because they're going to be going on tour starting April the 19th. What city does it kick off in? Is it Minneapolis? I forgot what city it actually kicks off in. Um, yeah, but I guess if you've been paying attention, the writing was basically on the wall, and I kind of been paying attention, so I'm kind of proud of myself a little bit. Okay, yeah. So get it, girl. Get it, get it, get it, get it, girl. But both SZA and Kendrick are also as well, y'all, on the Billboard 200. Kendrick's latest album, GNX, is currently number 4 and has been on the chart for 8 weeks. And SZA's album, SOS, is currently number 3, and it's been basically wearing the charts out, y'all, for 110 weeks. 110 weeks. That's a very, very long time. I'm looking forward to the concert, the reviews of the concert. I'm also looking forward, yes, to the halftime performance as well, but you can only do so much in whatever, however many minutes they give you. 525,600 minutes. SZA also, y'all, sat down with Kendrick back in November. In the Bazaar magazine, that was the issue that they were in. It was the November issue of Bazaar magazine. And SZA, if you don't know, her real name is Solana Amani Rowe. SZA is on page 28 in the magazine, and she is introduced as the issue's music director. SZA talks about having a 10-hour playlist of all the songs that she's ever been inspired by, including, check this out, y'all, Spice Girls, India Arie, the India Arie. Okay, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, Frank Ocean. SZA just continues to basically transcend also genres and is known for her dynamic vocals. Her next album, Lana, which is now officially out, is after her childhood nickname. That's what they called her growing up. There's also an album in which her grandmother speaks, and her grandmother talks about on one of the uh voiceover, maybe it was a voiceover part of it, of her one of her songs in a previous album where her grandmother speaks. That's what her grandmother calls her. She said, Lana. She said, if you don't speak up for yourself, they think you stupid. Something like that. So yeah, it was really a real cute moment, like with her and her grandmother. So um she basically describes the album as an attempt to clean out my closet and start anew. Many of the albums I named as inspiration comes from her childhood, it says. On page 74, they get into the business, actually, where SZA interviews Kendrick Lamar, and in advance, of course, of his Super Bowl performance. So while this issue was back in what, like November, I'm this is the perfect time for me to bring this out. Plus, when I talked about the GNX album, I actually kind of got it mixed up, and I think I may have called it like G and Z because when I looked at it initially, that's what it reminded me of. But it's the GNX album, and congratulations again, Kendrick, for the top, making the top 200. Let me keep it moving because I want to tell y'all what happened with this interview when it comes to SZA as well as Kendrick Lamar. He talks about some personal things in terms of how he's felt, his emotions. He discusses the last and first time that he cried. He said the last was on his 2022 album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. The specific song was Mother I Sober record. He also goes on to say that he he has to cry, y'all. Like, how many men will actually admit that, right? But he said he has to cry. He says, for what I do, there is certainly no growth without vulnerability. The first time Kendrick cried was actually documented on stage, he says, back in 2011. And he said it was specifically when Dre and Snoop and the whole West Coast was out. And he said that's the same day that Dre passed the torch, and a burst of energy, he said, gathered over him, and he just let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. I don't think that's a song, y'all. I'm just singing. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, anyway, he also goes on to say, I feel my work in music is just the start. I don't think it's my end goal. I know it's not my end goal. Music is just a vessel to get me there. You know what this sounds like, if I'm being honest with y'all? It sounds like Rihanna. When Rihanna said, basically, that when it came to music, it was kind of like a vessel for her. It was kind of like a stepping stool, not her exact words, but essentially, yeah, it was basically a stepping stool for her to be where she is now with her beauty business and her brand, and bringing out launching items for children, especially now that she has her two sons with ASAP Rocky. And so I said all that just to say, yeah, that's what that specific quote reminded me of. And when SZA asked him about what his latest hit song, Not Like Us, meant to him, he says, it's the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. This man has morals. He has values. He believes in something. He stands on something. Stand up on it, baby. He's not pandering. He recognizes his own mistakes and can dig deep down into fear based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. And while SZA confirmed that she does not believe Kendrick is an angry person, neither does Kendrick. He does say, however, that he believes in love and war, and that they both need to exist. Because of that awareness, it allows him to react to things, but not identify them as who he is. Just allowing them to exist and flow through him is what he says. That's just basically kind of what he believes. And Kendrick kind of turned the tables on SZA just a little bit, saying that he always admired um her, basically, in her ability to fully express herself. But he did ask how she's able to navigate that through music, and if she dreaded it coming out through certain lyrics. She talks about stripping the ego from the bottom, especially after hearing Mr. Morale, saying that she's not digging deep enough and was running from many things. And his music is actually an inspiration for her to dig deeper. For more on that, you can always check out that November issue of Bazaar magazine. And if you missed the previous episode, no worries. I've linked them below, and you can always browse the channel for the latest show. Thanks again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.